Hurry Up Tomorrow is one of the most exhausting movies I've seen in a while, and that's not a good thing. I was really hoping this one would be good. I'm a fan of The Weeknd, albeit a casual one. I wouldn't say I'm closely invested in whatever projects he's working on, but I'll turn on his songs every once in a while, and I like him. He's clearly a very talented guy and always has a strong vision that really comes across in his music. In regards to his acting career, he had a cameo in Uncut Gems. There's not too much to say about his work in that movie because he's not really in it very long at all. He's fine, doesn't really make a huge impression, but he doesn't need to. His big claim to fame came with the show The Idol, which I did not see, but I heard it was absolutely lovely. I'm kidding, of course, if you couldn't tell. Yeah, people genuinely seem to hate this show, so I'm just gonna trust the critics on this one and assume it's probably not great. The reason I was looking forward to this movie was because it was directed by Trey Edward Schultz. The only other movie I've seen from him was Waves, but I was really impressed with what he accomplished in that film. I found it really subverted my expectations and offered some amazing production value. I loved the way the story was told and overall found it to be super effective. It's been 6 years since that film came out, and we heard nothing from him since. We finally got a trailer to this film, and I was curious to see what he had been up to. This is intended to be a companion piece to The Weeknd's album of the same name, and tells the story of a troubled pop star who finds himself involved in a romance with a very passionate fan. The romance soon turns problematic, however, which in turn will have significant consequences for Abel. Right off the bat, I'll say the production elements are mostly solid. I saw this in Dolby, and I thought it sounded really nice, especially during some of these concert sequences. And even though the cinematography can be a little obnoxious, especially with how much spinning is involved, I always thought it was intriguing to look at. There were some cool shots that really stood out to me, and I think they'll especially hit harder for you on the big screen. Now, I'm usually a big fan of films based on albums like this. The Wall is one of my favorite movies of all time, as is Yellow Submarine. I think film is a really great way to expand upon your recorded material, and with the right direction, I think you can make something really incredible. Unfortunately, there wasn't really much of a strong vision pushing this one forward other than A24. Yep, that's the vision here. There you go. Ooh, there's a shot that's upside down. Ooh, let's put some really loud synth noises in, because that's what they do in A24 films. Ooh, bisexual lighting! This movie feels like it was made by a really pretentious film school student who just got finished lecturing you about how Marvel is the death of cinema and just discovered this really obscure indie filmmaker named Gaspar Noé. Yeah, maybe you've never heard of him. He doesn't make movies for normies, only real ones get it. If the film had a compelling enough story or themes, then I'd be fine with this film's huge ego, but the problem is it can't stand on its own 2 feet in a sea of competition. A lot of these visual motifs were really strong when Uncut Gems came out, but that movie is 6 years old now, and we've seen countless iterations of it since, so it more or less just feels like a ripoff of that. The Weeknd also just cannot act. I think you've seen the clips at this point.
I fucking love you, you fucking bitch! I fucking love you! I fucking love you when you rip my fucking heart! You rip my fucking heart! Get off me!
Get over it, man. Good lord.
Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up! Shut up! What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing?
Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up! Shut up! What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing?
His character doesn't really have any redeeming qualities to him and is not in any way interesting to watch. He's just really whiny and obnoxious, and that's it. I didn't feel like this film really explored him that deep as a character. I don't know anything about him, like, why is he like this? We'll never know, and the film doesn't care to elaborate on him more. It merely hopes that his status as a big star is enough to get you invested in his plight, which, if we've learned anything, is really not. Now, how he deals with fame specifically, or why he craves it, is something I'm open to exploring, but the film's themes are so thin that you don't even really get that. Jenna Ortega and Barry Keoghan are fine, but are not really given a ton to do here. They're both great actors, but when your material is this shallow, they can only take it so far. Now, I get what they're trying to do. It's a film that plays on the line between reality and fantasy. Not everything you see is supposed to be real, but even in that regard, this movie just doesn't work. It doesn't really feel like Abel learns anything by the end of this film, and the journey he takes to get to the conclusion that he does is just so goofy. I think that's the best way I can describe this movie. Goofy. Especially in the second half. Not goofy in a unique or interesting way, just dumb. I was even disappointed with how they used the music here. Like, you would think that this would be a really great opportunity to show off some amazing sequences and utilize the music in some creative ways, but it's mostly reserved for 2 live shows, one of which goes wrong, Jenna Ortega's character dancing, some montages. My point here is that the music is mostly in the background and doesn't make nearly as much a presence as it should. I go back to The Wall because that's the prime example of how to use your music in a way that really creates an interesting cinematic experience. I can't help but feel like maybe they could have done that here, but the music itself is really not interesting enough to create compelling material off of. And for that, the story doesn't do this movie any favors. I can't help but feel like I'd be massively let down if I was a big fan of The Weeknd. It seems as if some fans are responding okay to it, but I don't know, I just thought it was so lame. It's hard for me to really defend this, although I suppose its heart was in the right place. I really hope this isn't the end of Trey Edward Schultz's career, because I know he can do good work. Movies like this are just not helping his case, though. As for my rating, it gets a 4 out of 10. There will be some rabid fans who probably defend this one, but unfortunately, I am not one of them. Anyways, guys, I'm on TikTok these days and have been posting more reviews and other short videos there, so be sure to follow me there to see more. Did you see this movie? What did you think if you did? Hope you're all doing okay out there, and until next time.